India's final push for making the AFC Asian Cup gets underway today as they will take on Cambodia in the first of 3 matches. They will determine whether or not they get to qualify for the Continental Cup again. Now, obviously, India have been drawn in a pretty easy group that involves Cambodia, Hong Kong and Afghanistan. But if history has taught us anything, it's that the Indian team can often stumble at a time when it may seem easier to take a few steps. So, hello everyone, my name is Shane Dias and we are going to be previewing the AFC Asian Cup qualifying campaign for India, and we're going to also take a little deep dive into what all has been happening behind the scenes, why exactly it is that this campaign, which looks straightforward, may very well be anything but. So obviously let's first look at the permutations and combinations that we have in play. This of course is the ultimate goal, to compete for this tournament, but of course given India's status in football, it would be quite the accomplishment to qualify and have a good showing, never mind winning the tournament. That being said, the qualification permutations and combinations fairly simple. Right now there are 6 groups, with each group featuring 4 teams, out of which 11 teams can qualify. So that means that basically if you win your group, you've qualified, but 5 of the best second place teams out of the 6 groups will also be making it to the tournament. So for India, who are placed in a group which features opponents who are ranked lower than them, the equation is fairly simple. All that the men in blue have to do is win their group, top the group, and they're guaranteed a shot. If they finish second, they are still in with a shot, but there is that very small chance that they might not end up making it into the tournament. That being said, with the kind of draw they have, it would be fair to assume that India would indeed be favourites, and what's more, they also have the home advantage. Yes, all 3 of their matches are going to be played at the Salt Lake City Stadium in Kolkata, so that means potentially sellout crowds, massive crowds of football-loving fans will be cheering on the Indian team. Of course, it's never always that straightforward when it comes to Indian football, and that is one of the things that I'm going to be talking about. But first, it's also important to look at just how good or bad the Indian team's form has been in recent times, and truth be told, the recent games don't really make for encouraging reading. Now, they failed to win any of their international friendlies that they had organized in preparation for this qualifying leg. What's more, they even ended up losing a friendly match to ATK Mohun Bagan, which is quite the embarrassment when you think about it, because the Indian team ended up losing out to a club side. Obviously, ATK Mohun Bagan are a very good club side, so this is not taking anything away from them, but you would expect that a national team would have all the necessary players to beat any club team in India, not just Mohun Bagan. That being said, as I mentioned before, this group doesn't have a lot of tough opposition, so for India it shouldn't be too much of a problem to qualify into the next round. But considering the fact that if the matches are being played in India and you'd expect a home crowd, that very nearly wasn't the case, thanks to, of course, our friends at the All India Football Federation. Why is that the case? Well, because the Salt Lake Stadium was only expected to be, which by the way has a capacity of over 70,000, was only expected to have 15 to 20,000 people, all of whom would be there through complimentary passes. Yes, tickets at first didn't go up for sale in the general category, and they were only expected to be a minuscule amount of fans, and most of whom would be there in fact by complimentary passes and not actually spending money to pay for those tickets. Of course, when Indian captain Sunil Chhetri found out about that, he said that, and he did raise a bit of a storm, that was something that was covered. He said that it's as good as not having a home advantage. After he made those comments, the COA that is currently running Indian football and the All India Football Federation stepped in and said that tickets should go on general sale, which is exactly what happened. But it once again took the intervention of the skipper to have a number of fans in the stadium. Again, it makes no sense that you would not have tickets on general sale for matches involving the Indian football team. What's more, insiders within the AIFF gave the logic that at most the interest would be for having 5 or 6,000 fans, so it made no sense to put the tickets on sale in the general category. But again, this is being played in Kolkata. Kolkata is a city that loves its football, and even in the last time when India played Bangladesh and other teams in Kolkata, you had at least 60,000 paying members of the public there to cheer the team on. So it made no sense, and thankfully it was a decision where the COA stepped in, said, yeah, you know what, we need to put tickets out for general sales. So thankfully there will be something of a home advantage, because as I said, Kolkata fans are very passionate about the football and the Indian football team. So in many ways, India will have that home advantage driving them on. In theory, this would be a very simple qualification process for India. They should make it through easily. But football games are never won in theory, or they're never won on paper. So it will be very interesting to see how it is that the Indian team fares. And of course, we're going to be having you covered with all the results, reactions and analysis all through the way. So don't forget to join us after the game later tonight. And thank you very much for joining us in this preview. Don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and don't forget to stay in touch with Sports Today across all platforms. We're everywhere, be it YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, we're there. Don't forget to stay in touch with us for all the latest updates and analysis from the world of sport. Thank you very much.